Gentlemen, have you ever walked into a room and noticed something peculiar? The way conversations seem to shift, how certain women's energy changes, or how an almost magnetic tension fills the air around you. If you're watching this channel, chances are you've experienced this phenomenon without fully understanding what's happening behind the scenes. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing aspects of Sigma male presence, the inexplicable emotional and psychological responses women experience when they're in your orbit. What I'm about to reveal isn't just theory or wishful thinking. This is based on behavioral psychology, evolutionary biology, and real-world observations that explain why women often find themselves drawn to Sigma men in ways they can't quite articulate. You see, while alpha males command attention through dominance and beta males seek approval through accommodation, Sigma males create something entirely different, an enigmatic presence that triggers primal, almost unconscious responses in women. The Sigma male doesn't follow the traditional social hierarchy. You operate outside conventional frameworks, and this creates a unique psychological dynamic that women find both fascinating and unsettling. It's not about being better or worse than other archetypes. It's about being fundamentally different in a way that speaks to deeper, evolutionary instincts. If you've ever wondered why women seem to study you from across the room, why they become more animated in your presence, or why they often struggle to explain their attraction to you, this video will provide those answers. We're going to explore the 6 core emotional and psychological responses that women experience around Sigma men, responses so deeply rooted in human psychology that they often can't rationalize them themselves. But before we dive into these revelations, make sure to subscribe to Official Sigma Male, because understanding these dynamics isn't just about satisfying curiosity. It's about gaining the insights you need to navigate relationships and social situations with the confidence that comes from true self-awareness. When you understand the effect you have, you can move through the world with even greater intentionality and purpose. The mystery magnetism. There's something happening in the space between you and the women around you that defies conventional explanation. It's not the obvious display of wealth, status symbols, or loud proclamations of success that typically grab attention. Instead, it's something far more subtle yet infinitely more powerful. Women find themselves drawn to Sigma males through what I call the mystery magnetism, an invisible force that operates below the radar of conscious thought and social conditioning. This magnetism doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It doesn't demand attention or validation. In fact, it works in the complete opposite way. The Sigma male's natural detachment from social hierarchies and approval-seeking behaviors creates a vacuum that women feel compelled to understand and explore. It's like encountering a locked door in a hallway full of open rooms. The mystery itself becomes irresistible. Consider this scenario. You're at a social gathering, standing slightly apart from the main crowd, observing rather than participating in the usual social theater. You're not trying to be the center of attention, not competing for laughs or approval. You're simply present, comfortable in your own space, perhaps engaged in a meaningful conversation with 1 or 2 people, rather than working the entire room. What happens next is fascinating from a psychological standpoint. Women begin to notice you precisely because you're not trying to be noticed. Your lack of attention-seeking behavior triggers what psychologists call the scarcity principle. Something that isn't readily available becomes more valuable and desirable. But it goes deeper than simple scarcity. Your detachment signals something that most modern women rarely encounter. A man who is complete within himself, who doesn't need external validation to feel worthy or confident. This completeness creates A magnetic field of curiosity. Women find themselves stealing glances, trying to read your expressions, wondering what you're thinking. They might find reasons to move closer to your vicinity, not necessarily to interact, but simply to be within your energetic space. Some might even feel slightly nervous or unsettled without understanding why. This isn't about intimidation. It's about encountering someone who operates from a fundamentally different paradigm than what they're used to. The mystery deepens because Sigma males don't follow predictable social scripts. Most men in social settings are relatively easy to categorize. The guy trying to impress everyone with stories, the one seeking approval through humor, the aggressive alpha commanding attention, or the passive beta hoping to be included. But the Sigma male doesn't fit these familiar patterns. You're engaged but detached, confident but not boastful, approachable but not needy. This unpredictability creates what neuroscientists call a prediction error in women's brains. Their social conditioning and past experiences haven't provided them with a clear framework for understanding your behavior. When the brain can't quickly categorize something, it becomes hyper-focused on gathering more information. This is why women often find themselves studying Sigma males more intently than other men. Their brains are working overtime to solve the puzzle you represent. The magnetism intensifies because Sigma males maintain what I call selective engagement. You don't engage with everyone equally. Your interactions are intentional and meaningful rather than broadly social. When you do choose to engage with a woman, she immediately recognizes that this interaction is different from casual social pleasantries. There's weight to it, substance that stands in stark contrast to the superficial exchanges she's accustomed to. This selective attention becomes incredibly powerful because it's not based on her appearance, social status, or how she presents herself to the world. Instead, Sigma males tend to engage based on authenticity, intelligence, or genuine connection. Women sense this difference, even if they can't articulate it. They realize that earning your attention isn't about playing games or fitting into expected roles. It's about being real, which is both liberating and terrifying for many women who have learned to perform rather than simply be. The mystery. Magnetism also operates through what you don't do. You don't chase, pursue aggressively, or make your interest obvious through typical courtship displays. You don't shower women with compliments they've heard 1,000 times or try to win them over through material gestures. This absence of typical male courtship behavior creates a void that women often feel compelled to fill. They find themselves initiating conversations, extending invitations, or creating opportunities for interaction, behaviors they might not exhibit with other men. What's particularly intriguing is how this magnetism affects different women differently. Those who are used to being pursued might find your indifference initially frustrating, but ultimately intriguing. Women who are tired of aggressive male attention often find your respectful distance refreshing and safe. Highly intelligent women, who are often bored by predictable male behavior, become engaged by the intellectual and emotional complexity you represent. The Sigma male's mystery magnetism also stems from your comfort with solitude and independence. In a world where most people seem desperate for connection and validation, your genuine contentment with your own company signals a level of self-actualization that many find magnetic. Women sense that being with you would be a choice rather than a need, that any relationship would be built on desire rather than dependency. This independence creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, the most powerful form of behavioral conditioning. Your attention and engagement come not on demand or through manipulation, but organically, based on genuine interest and connection. This unpredictability keeps women engaged on a neurological level, their brains releasing dopamine not just when they receive your attention, but in anticipation of potentially receiving it. The mystery magnetism of the Sigma male ultimately works because it represents something increasingly rare in modern social dynamics: authenticity without agenda, confidence without arrogance, strength without dominance, and engagement without desperation. Women respond to this energy because it speaks to something deeper than social conditioning or cultural expectations. It connects with their fundamental desire for genuine masculine presence in their lives. The safety paradox. One of the most fascinating psychological responses women have to Sigma males is what I call the safety paradox. This is the simultaneous feeling of being both completely safe and slightly on edge, protected yet challenged, comfortable yet excited. It's a complex emotional state that most women struggle to explain because it seems contradictory on the surface. But it's actually one of the most powerful dynamics in human attraction and connection. The safety component comes from the Sigma male's natural lack of aggressive pursuit or dominating behavior. Unlike alpha males who might create tension through competition or dominance displays, or beta males who might create discomfort through neediness or hidden agendas, Sigma males generate what feels like a neutral, non-threatening presence. Women can relax their guard because they don't sense the typical male agenda of conquest, validation-seeking, or ego-feeding that they've learned to be wary of. This safety isn't just physical, though that's certainly part of it. It's emotional and psychological safety. Women sense that Sigma males aren't trying to manipulate, impress, or use them for anything. There's no hidden agenda, no performance being put on for their benefit, no attempt to win them over through deception or exaggeration. This authentic presence creates a rare space where women can drop their social defenses and simply exist without the constant evaluation and strategic thinking that often accompanies interactions with other men. But here's where the paradox becomes interesting. Alongside this safety, women experience a subtle sense of unpredictability that keeps them alert and engaged. The Sigma male's independence and self-direction mean that his choices and actions aren't easily predicted or controlled. This creates a low-level excitement, a sense that anything could happen, that this person operates by his own internal compass, rather than social expectations or her influence. Let me illustrate this with a practical example. Imagine you're having a conversation with a woman at a coffee shop. Unlike other men who might be clearly trying to impress her, ask for her number, or steer the conversation toward their own accomplishments, you're genuinely engaged in the discussion for its own sake. She feels safe because there's no pressure, no agenda she needs to navigate or defend against, but she also feels slightly on edge because she can't predict where the conversation will go or what you might do next. Will you ask for her contact information? Will you suggest meeting again? Will you simply enjoy this moment and walk away? The uncertainty is both thrilling and slightly unsettling. This paradox creates what psychologists call optimal arousal, a state where someone is relaxed enough to be authentic, but stimulated enough to be fully present and engaged. It's the psychological sweet spot where genuine connection becomes possible. Women find themselves more articulate, more genuine, and more willing to share their real thoughts and feelings because they feel safe, while simultaneously being more focused and present because of the subtle uncertainty. The safety aspect of this paradox also comes from the Sigma male's emotional stability and self-regulation. You don't react dramatically to situations, don't seek to create drama or conflict, and don't make decisions based on emotional impulses or social pressure. This emotional steadiness becomes an anchor point for women, especially those who are used to navigating the emotional volatility that often comes with other personality types. They can relax into your presence, knowing that you won't suddenly become someone different based on mood, circumstance, or their own behavior. Yet the challenge component keeps things dynamic. The Sigma male's high standards, authentic self-expression, and unwillingness to compromise core values creates a subtle pressure for women to bring their best selves to the interaction. It's not that you're judging or criticizing, it's that your authenticity calls forth authenticity in others. Women sense that superficiality, games, or false personas won't work with you, which can be both liberating and intimidating. This dynamic becomes particularly powerful in longer interactions or relationships. Women often describe feeling seen by Sigma males in ways they haven't experienced with others. The combination of safety and challenge creates an environment where they feel secure enough to reveal their genuine selves while being motivated to grow and evolve. It's like having a personal trainer for emotional and psychological development, supportive enough to take risks, challenging enough to push boundaries. The safety paradox also manifests in how women behave around Sigma males. They might find themselves being more direct than usual because they sense that games and manipulation won't be effective. They might share deeper thoughts or concerns because the environment feels safe for vulnerability. At the same time, they might also feel more nervous or self-aware because they recognize that this interaction has more weight and significance than typical social exchanges. What's particularly interesting is how this paradox affects women's decision-making. The safety component allows them to consider possibilities they might normally dismiss as too risky. The challenge component prevents them from becoming complacent or taking the interaction for granted. This creates a dynamic where women often make choices they wouldn't normally make, perhaps being more forward, more honest, or more willing to step outside their comfort zones. The Sigma male's comfort with solitude and independence contributes significantly to this paradox. Women feel safe because they don't sense desperation or neediness, but they also recognize that your life doesn't revolve around them or depend on their approval. This knowledge can be both comforting and slightly anxiety-provoking. They know you won't become possessive or controlling, but they also can't assume they can predict or control your choices. This safety paradox extends into physical presence as well. Sigma males typically have a calm, controlled energy that doesn't feel threatening or aggressive. Women can relax physically in your presence, but there's also an underlying strength and capability that creates a different kind of awareness. It's not fear, it's recognition of power that's under control, strength that's directed by wisdom rather than emotion. The paradox ultimately works because it mirrors what women instinctively seek in masculine energy: the combination of strength and gentleness, protection and freedom, stability and growth. The safety paradox that Sigma males naturally create provides both the security needed for genuine connection and the stimulation necessary for continued interest and development. It's this balance that makes interactions with Sigma males so memorable and impactful for women, even when they can't fully explain why. The authenticity recognition. Women have developed an almost supernatural radar for detecting fake masculinity, and Sigma males consistently trigger what I call authenticity recognition, the instant, often subconscious realization that they're encountering the real deal rather than another performance. In today's dating world, women have become expert lie detectors. They've seen the fake alpha overcompensating with aggression, the try-hard performing success, the nice guy hiding his agenda. This constant exposure to masculine theater has sharpened their ability to spot the difference between genuine presence and strategic presentation. When a woman meets a Sigma male, something shifts. The usual warning bells that scream, "This guy is putting on an act, stay quiet." Instead, she experiences what I call congruence recognition. Everything about you lines up. Your words match your energy, your actions align with your values. Your presence remains consistent, whether you're talking to her or the waiter. Most men unconsciously become different versions of themselves when they want to impress a woman. Their voice changes, their stories get exaggerated, their whole energy shifts based on what they think she wants to see. Women pick up on these micro changes instantly, even if they can't consciously explain why something feels off. The Sigma. Male does the opposite. You remain exactly who you are, regardless of the audience. This consistency sends a powerful message that women interpret as both strength and trustworthiness. There's no performance to see through, no hidden agenda to decode, no fake persona to eventually crumble. This authenticity recognition has immediate effects. Women find themselves dropping their own social masks around you. They share real opinions instead of safe ones, reveal actual thoughts instead of what they think you want to hear. Your genuineness gives them permission to be genuine too. What makes Sigma authenticity particularly powerful is that it's unconditional. Most people will be authentic only as long as it doesn't risk rejection or disapproval. But Sigma males express who they are without hedging bets or seeking approval. This creates what women recognize as rare and incredibly attractive, a man who isn't trying to win them over. Women often describe meeting a Sigma male as finally encountering someone who isn't trying to sell them something. There's no sense that you'll become a different person if they don't respond the way you want. This removes the pressure they usually feel to manage or reward male behavior. The recognition extends to how you handle conflict. Instead of getting aggressive or backing down, the two most common male responses, you can disagree respectfully while holding your ground. You can change your mind when presented with better information. This emotional maturity registers as authentic masculine strength. Women also recognize Sigma authenticity in how you relate to your own imperfections. You don't pretend to have everything figured out or hide your flaws behind false confidence. You acknowledge areas where you're growing without shame or overcompensation. This honest self-awareness creates trust faster than any amount of posturing ever could. The authenticity recognition often catches women off guard with its speed. They find themselves trusting you more quickly than usual, sharing more personally than normal, feeling more relaxed than their logical mind thinks they should. Their intuitive recognition system is sending safe signals, while their analytical mind is still trying to figure out why. Perhaps most importantly, women recognize Sigma authenticity through what you don't do. No exaggerated stories, no name-dropping, no rehearsed lines or manipulation techniques. The absence of these common performance strategies is as telling as their presence would be. You create connection through being real, not through being impressive. This authenticity can't be faked or strategically deployed. Women's detection systems are too sophisticated to be fooled by performed genuineness. The only way to trigger authentic recognition is to actually be authentic, which means the Sigma males who generate this response are living from a place of integrated self-knowledge and genuine self-acceptance. The result is relationships and connections built on solid ground rather than shifting sand, where both people can show up as who they really are instead of who they think they should be. The challenge response. Sigma males trigger what I call the challenge response. Women's irresistible urge to understand someone who doesn't need their validation. This taps directly into evolutionary psychology and creates intense psychological engagement. Most men either chase desperately or seek constant approval, both signaling emotional dependency. This feels predictable and removes the challenge that keeps attraction alive. Sigma males operate differently. You're interested but not desperate, engaged but not outcome dependent. You don't need her approval for your self-worth. This creates intermittent reinforcement, the most powerful conditioning mechanism in psychology. When women can't predict or control your responses, their problem-solving brain goes into overdrive. They analyze your behavior, search for patterns, try understanding what makes you tick. This mental engagement becomes addictive. The challenge isn't about playing games, it's genuine self-direction. Your decisions aren't based on impressing her. You have your own life, mission, and standards. This independence makes your attention scarce and valuable. Women feel they need to earn your interest by being their best selves. The challenge response makes them bring their A-game because they sense mediocrity won't hold your attention. This reverses typical courtship. Instead of you pursuing her, she wants to understand what genuinely interests you. This role reversal is both frustrating and exhilarating. The challenge triggers mate value assessment. When someone doesn't need our approval, our brain assumes they must have high value. This makes Sigma males appear more desirable subconsciously. Your selective attention amplifies this. When you do engage deeply, she knows this attention is earned, not freely given. These focused moments feel more meaningful than constant attention. The challenge forces her beyond external validation toward internal self-worth. This often leads to personal growth and increased self-awareness. What makes this powerful is authenticity. You're not strategically withholding attention. You're genuinely living by your own standards. Women respect this self-direction even when frustrated by it. Challenge creates emotional investment. When someone must work to understand you and earn your deeper attention, they become psychologically invested. This translates into stronger, lasting attraction. The Sigma male's challenge response honors both autonomy, yours and hers. You're not manipulating or controlling. You're being authentically selective, which naturally creates the dynamic tension that keeps attraction alive. This isn't about being aloof. It's about being genuinely self-directed in a way that makes your attention feel valuable when given. The emotional sanctuary. Sigma males naturally create what I call the emotional sanctuary, a psychological space where women feel they can drop their masks and be genuinely themselves without judgment or performance pressure. Most social interactions require women to manage their image constantly. They filter thoughts, moderate emotions, and present socially acceptable versions of themselves. This emotional labor is exhausting and creates distance in relationships. When women encounter Sigma males, something shifts. Your non-judgmental presence and lack of agenda creates safety they rarely experience. You're not trying to fix them, change them, or use their emotions for your benefit. The sanctuary effect comes from your emotional stability. You don't react dramatically to their feelings or try to control their emotional state. This stability allows women to experience their full emotional range without fear of overwhelming or driving you away. Women often describe feeling seen by Sigma males in ways they haven't experienced before. Your authentic listening, without trying to solve, judge, or redirect, creates space for them to explore their own thoughts and feelings more deeply. This emotional sanctuary isn't about being a therapist or emotional dumping ground. It's about creating genuine connection through accepting people as they are, rather than who you think they should be. Your own emotional integration allows you to hold space for others' emotions without being destabilized by them. Women sense this capacity and feel safe expressing vulnerability they typically keep hidden. The sanctuary becomes particularly powerful because it's reciprocal. As women feel safe being authentic, they naturally create the same space for you. This mutual emotional safety allows for deeper intimacy than surface-level interactions. Women recognize that your acceptance isn't conditional on their mood, behavior, or emotional state. This unconditional positive regard, rare in their experience, creates profound psychological relief and connection. The emotional sanctuary you provide often becomes a refuge from the performance pressure of modern life. Women can simply exist without constantly managing how they're perceived or received. This dynamic creates loyalty and deep appreciation. Women value the emotional freedom you provide and often describe interactions with Sigma males as feeling real in ways other relationships don't. The sanctuary effect works because it honors women's full humanity rather than just the parts that are convenient or attractive. This complete acceptance creates the foundation for genuine intimacy and lasting connection. The evolutionary echo. Sigma males trigger what I call the evolutionary echo, deep biological responses in women that bypass conscious thought and connect directly to ancient survival and mating instincts. On a primal level, women's brains are constantly assessing potential mates for survival and reproductive fitness. Most modern men trigger mixed or negative signals. Desperation suggests weakness, aggression suggests instability, neediness suggests inability to provide protection. Sigma males activate different neural pathways, your self-sufficiency signals, strong survival capability. Your emotional stability suggests reliable protection. Your independence indicates you can thrive without depleting her resources. This creates what evolutionary psychologists call optimal mate recognition, the subconscious identification of someone who possesses desirable genetic and survival traits without the problematic behaviors that often accompany them. Women experience physical responses they can't explain. Increased heart rate, heightened awareness, subtle arousal responses. Their biology is responding to evolutionary cues that signal high-value mate, even when their conscious mind hasn't made that assessment. Your calm confidence triggers their safety and strength recognition system. Unlike aggressive displays that signal potential danger or weak behavior that signals inadequate protection, Sigma presence hits the evolutionary sweet spot of capable but controlled. The echo also activates their genetic quality assessment. Your self-direction and success without desperation suggests strong problem-solving abilities and resource acquisition skills that would benefit offspring survival. Women often report feeling drawn to Sigma males in ways they can't rationally explain. This magnetic pull is their evolutionary programming recognizing compatible genetic and survival advantages. Your selective attention triggers scarcity responses that make women's mating psychology more active. When high-quality attention is limited, their brains naturally value it more highly and work harder to secure it. The evolutionary echo creates what researchers call unconscious mate preference activation, biological responses that influence attraction and bonding before conscious decision-making even begins. This deep programming explains why women often feel confused by their strong responses to Sigma males. Their biology is responding to evolutionary fitness indicators, while their conscious mind is still processing the interaction. The echo works because Sigma male traits, independence, emotional stability, selective engagement, authentic strength, align perfectly with what women's evolutionary psychology identifies as optimal masculine qualities for long-term partnership and genetic investment. These 6 responses, mystery magnetism, safety paradox, authenticity recognition, challenge response, emotional sanctuary, and evolutionary echo, happen naturally when you embody genuine Sigma male characteristics. Women aren't responding to tactics, they're responding to authentic masculine presence. The power isn't in creating these responses, but understanding them when they occur. This knowledge helps you navigate relationships with greater awareness while staying true to yourself. If you're genuinely operating from Sigma principles, these dynamics happen organically. What we've discussed simply helps you recognize what's already occurring in your life. Your Sigma path isn't about changing who you are, it's about becoming more of who you already are. The women who respond to your presence are recognizing something real and valuable that can't be faked. If these patterns resonate with your experience, you're exactly where you need to be. Subscribe to Official Sigma Male because we're exploring the unique journey you walk as an authentic Sigma male. In today's world, stay Sigma, stay authentic, and keep walking your own path.